I want to bring in CBSN political contributor Lynda Tran. She's at the rally in Washington, D.C. She's a Democratic strategist and also a founding partner of 270 Strategies. Lynda, what can you tell us a little bit about sort of the sense and the mood there? And do you believe that this is going to lead to something more?
Thanks, Rena. Great to be with you. I mean, how I would encapsulate the day is that the message was really clear, but it was a combination message. On the one hand, there was a lot of anger. As you heard, there was discussion of electoral consequences. There were a lot of chants of vote in November and dump Trump. But on the other hand, there was a very, very clear message of love and of hope as well. You would see signs that said things like immigrants welcome here, just having families out there was definitely a family affair. There were babies and small children kind of braving the heat to say, your family is just like mine and we welcome you here.
Lynda, I remember being side by side with you just a little bit after the inauguration at the Women's March in Capitol Hill. We've seen so many rallying cries during the 18 months of this president's administration. Do you get a sense that immigration could lead to some larger movement? Is there enough momentum for this? And do you think it could affect midterms?
Well, you know what's interesting, Rena, is I would argue that the immigration reform movement has existed for quite a while. And what you end up seeing are peaks and valleys depending on who's in office, if there are moving stories. And typically it's been driven from the progressive side. What's different about this go round is that this whole crisis at the border, the family separation issue, clearly concerned people on both sides of the aisle in a way that we frankly haven't seen in a really, really long time, not since during the Bush administration, to be honest. And so I think that there is a sense, certainly among progressive activists, but also I would say moderates as well, that there's an opportunity here for continued organizing, continued momentum heading into the midterm election.
What are you watching for, Lynda, when it comes to the coming months leading up to midterms? We've heard some of the speakers here talk about Supreme Court picks as well as a battle cry to sort of go and vote. We know typically midterms, it's a lesser turnout. What are Democrats watching?
Well, I think Democrats are certainly still reeling from the results of the various Supreme Court cases that came out last week and also the retirement announcement of Justice Kennedy. And there's no question that across the progressive movement, large groups and small groups are right now strategizing about the right approach to push back. I think what we're going to end up seeing is a lot of discussion, especially led by women's groups like NARAL and Emily's List, around the possibility of Roe v. Wade being overturned. I think there's a lot of fear about what could happen with the Affordable Care Act that now covers millions and millions of people, given what is likely to be a much more conservative-leaning Supreme Court makeup.
Lynda Tran, CBSN political contributor, thank you very much for joining us, Lynda.
Thanks, Rena.